Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with head coach Scott Langer. Coach, a strong weekend for the Wings, an 8-3 win here at home on Friday night. It featured a 6-goal second period after being down 2 after 1. What was the difference between the first and second?
Well, our guys came out to play in the second, and in the first period, we were just a very average hockey team, and we needed to fix some things and to get back to playing the way we have success. And I thought, obviously, the way the guys responded in the second period was especially at home, was awesome. And we scored 6 goals there in about 8 minutes or whatever it was. But it was just, we started to touch pucks and win races, and we had some physicality to our game. Stuff that we just weren't doing in the first period. But obviously the way they responded was fantastic, and the result was a good one.
Yeah, for sure. Jordan Randall with a hat trick there in the second period. In the first that you had, I think it was like 14 shots on goal compared to like 3 for a while there, so you had some chances, but really opened things up in the second. And again, a final was ended up being 8-3, and Verdi's with 2 goals on that game as well, so spread out scoring. A 5-1 win on Saturday up in Bismarck. I expected a physical game, but like you said, they've all been physical, really. And this is a team that isn't afraid to hit, that's for sure. But a nice 5-1 win, tough to get on the road. What were your guys' thoughts on Saturday's game?
Well, it's great that Ben got out there early and got us on the board early. That was a good pick-me-up for getting off the bus and having to play a game. But again, they're a team that prides themselves on running around and hitting guys, and they certainly came out of the gates doing that. And I thought our guys responded well with making plays and getting to the net and to the areas to be successful scoring goals. At the same time, defensively, I thought we were really good. We forced a lot of turnovers, and we were able to reattack on a lot of those turnovers. So it was a good road game. I thought all 3 periods we played exceptionally well. We killed off some big penalties, and we had a good game.
You talked about it on a couple of occasions in either pregame or even maybe on a previous Wings Weekly that between the blue lines and being able to get some of those turnovers and create opportunities out of them has been really big for you guys, and it's something that you've said have been keys at some points anyway. Is that by design in the neutral zone to try to turn them over there, or something that's done intentionally, I guess?
In the game of hockey, you win the neutral zone, normally you win the game. Mm-hmm. And, it's an area of the ice that you certainly have to own, so there's some time spent in that area when we're going through practice. And obviously we have some principles in place, and we want to turn the puck over in that area. This way we can get back onto our opponents as quick as possible, and this group here does a really good job of it.
Yeah, they certainly do. You mentioned it, penalty kill. Best in the league right now at 100%, and really some key moments there in Bismarck, too, being able to kill those off. The power play at 34.8%. Obviously things are going well when it comes to specialty teams, and I've got kind of a dumb question, but is there ever a time when you look at your power play or your penalty kill and say, this is what I want? We don't have to work on it anymore. Just keep doing this, and then we're okay.
Yeah, no, never. Every team you see has got a different scheme when they're killing penalties, and from one night to the next, they may adjust their pressure or where they're pressuring. So sure. I think your specialty teams are constant, especially in the game of hockey today, with the amount of penalties that are called and the timing of when they're called. You have to be ready to either score a big goal or kill a big penalty. So that's something we'll work on weekly. No matter what, and we'll gauge it towards our opponent on the weekend, and then after you play them on a Friday, it probably changes again on Saturday.
Right. Okay. Jake Seibel, another big game there on Saturday night. I thought he was going to have another shutout until about 3.5 minutes left of the game. He just about did on a 2-on-1 that came his way. But would you say it's safe to say that Jake is a 1A, 1B kind of with Wasik at this point?
Well, obviously we've rode Jake early on here, and he's playing with confidence. So I think when you have a goaltender that's playing with that kind of confidence, I think you got to play him. Yeah. And Jake certainly has earned every minute that he's gotten. I think Dominic's going to get his opportunities to prove that he's worthy of the 1B, and they're both very good goaltenders. I think we can play, any one of them, but Jake's the lead guy right now and where he's at, obviously statistically and win-wise, playing a good team in Bismarck and being able to win, 4 in a row against them. So Jake's done a great job.
Like you said, he's earned it. Depth. It continues with last year's team even and so on, when we've talked about all 4 lines being able to score and so on, and different guys being able to kill penalties and so on, with some injuries and that kind of thing going on this early. Depth, the importance of it really can't be overstated, can it?
No, that's for sure, especially with the amount of injuries that we have right now. It's been a long time since I've had a team that's so bagged up so early in the season, so... the importance of depth. You got guys stepping in, killing penalties that haven't done it before, guys moving up on the power play, and it just being inserted in the general lineup and doing a good job. We've used several different lineups, but depth is key. And we'll continue to build our team on depth because I'm a big believer, and that's the only way to be successful.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned it in the pregame on Friday that you had some guys banged up a bit, and over the course of the weekend, I just kind of noticed that there were some guys that really, kind of picked the mantle up and, answered the bell, I guess you might say, or really, stepped up. So it was great to see, and I kind of was reminded of that level of depth. Guys like Spencer Schneider, out a couple of games, and guys, and there's some very key pieces that were missing too. So, all right, well, coming up, it's the Austin Bruins. Austin has not played a game, not in a regular season game anyway. I would imagine that makes it a little bit challenging because you don't have any film on them really, and they've got plenty on you.
Yeah, we should be really well scouted, that's for sure, by them. They've played some exhibition games and stuff against the other leagues, but we don't have a ton to go by, so we're going to have to rely on what we do, and we're going to have to do it well.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Not have to worry too much about them as much as about you. All right, well, Coach, that's really all I've got on Austin anyway. Wings, of course, right now on top of the Central Division with 12 points. Minot in second with 10th, and then the Wilderness with 2, Bismarck with 2, St. Cloud is winless with 0, and then, as I mentioned, Austin is gameless with 0. Obviously, early in the season, and scheduling-wise, a lot of things will change, but Wings on top and remain in the win column with all 6 games. So congratulations on that. That's about all I got for you, Coach. A final question. Since we last sat here at Wings Weekly, about 10 inches of snow has fallen, and it was 5 degrees this morning on October 26th. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you don't want to know my thoughts. I've had to move every inch of it, and I'm trying to get it where someone comes in and just moves the snow for me, but the wife's not buying it since I have the snow blower, so I guess I have to use it. But yeah,
I knew you'd be impressed. That's why I had to ask.
See you in 9 months.
All right. Well, once again, thanks for coming on the show. Best of luck coming up against Austin.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. We'll be back with the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this with a player.
Your bird dog deserves a great hunt.
Let's go. Let's hunt some birds.
So do you. This season, hunt in Aberdeen, South Dakota, America's premier pheasant hunting destination. Experience the flush. Experience the rush of wild birds in wild places. Create your hunt of a lifetime this season in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
We continue on with Wings Weekly, and as promised, a player joining me, Ben Badalamenti. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you taking some time.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Well, Ben, you're from Harrison Township, Michigan. I don't know why, but that sounds like it would be on the Upper Peninsula. Where's it at about?
It's about 15 minutes south of Detroit.
Okay. So I was way far off.
Yeah.
You have an interesting story. Kind of a man without a team because of COVID.
Yeah.
You were playing in the major juniors up in Canada with the St. John Sea Dogs, but with COVID and the border closing and stuff, you're kind of like, man, now what? Yeah. So I want to talk to you about how you got started in hockey, but I think it'd be kind of interesting for people to know how you got here. How did that process all play out?
Well, I was just looking for a team that has a winning culture, and everyone I talked to said this is the best spot. So this is my last year, so I was just looking for somewhere to win.
Yeah. So. Well, Hopefully you found it, and you have so far.
Yeah.
And been a big impact already here too. So at what level, or what age I should say, did you start playing? Generally it's usually pretty young.
Yeah, I was pretty young. I think around 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you make your way through. You played with the Lincoln Stars in the USHL.
Yeah.
Bounced around a little bit, and as I mentioned, up in Canada, and then with the Wings here in the North American League. What's been some of the biggest challenges for you in juniors? I would imagine one of them is just getting used to moving talent, going to different locations, and finding like where's the best place to get my tires changed or whatever whatever it might be. That's got to be a challenge in its own right.
Yeah, it's been hard, but just adjusting to new coaches and just new game plans and knowing different guys. But it's been good overall. I've met some of my best friends and all these teams I've been on, and I'm just excited to be here now. So.
Well, it quickly becomes a brotherhood, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Being from Michigan, we've had many Wings players come our way from Michigan. Do you know anybody that's been a Wing before, or maybe even someone that's on the team now that you played with at some point? It's always interesting to me how the worlds collide, or there's always someone that you played against one time at this place or that or whatever.
Yeah, it's a small world for sure. I know Jake Bonnet played here last year, right? I played with him on Honey Baked when I was 16 years old. So. Okay. And I know a couple guys that from Michigan on this team. I've heard their names, but we've never been on the same team. So.
Gotcha. Okay. I always feel like you walk into a locker room and if there's a face there that even if they were on an opposing team, at least it's like I know someone. Well, welcome certainly to Aberdeen and to the Wings. Tell us a little about your family. How did you get started in hockey? Did you have a brother or maybe a dad that played? And tell us a little bit about your family life.
Yeah, well, my middle brother Nick plays soccer. He started playing hockey when he was really young, but he got his equipment stolen when he was 3 or 4. Wow. So he just quit and called it. But my older brother has been playing since he was 4 years old, and I just followed in his footsteps. So that's how I basically started. My parents never played. Okay.
So. You mentioned your brother. Did he go on and play juniors and stuff too, or was it just kind of a high school career for him?
Yeah, Zach, he played in NA for Port Huron, Fighting Falcons, and the New Mexico Mustangs. And then he went on to play Division III for University of Stevens Point. Okay. And ended up getting hurt a little bit, and then just took up coaching.
Excellent.
Now he coaches,
Good transition. That's funny. Not always does it work out for a player to become a coach. And a lot of times people think that that it would be an easy transition, but it takes a certain mind and a certain way of thinking to be a successful coach.
Right.
University of Wisconsin Stevens Point. We've had a handful of Wings that have gone that direction. And of course, Colin Raver, Rue. So that's awesome. And like you said, small world. Yeah. All right. How about a little about you? What's been a highlight of your hockey career?
I'd have to say when I was playing midget minor actually with Honey Baked and Little Caesars. Just those days, the tournaments, and when we went on to nationals, we ended up losing in the semifinals and the finals, but that was probably my best experience playing so far. But I've never really won a big tournament, so I'm still looking for it.
Yep, still definitely chances though. All right. So how about a little bit more about you away from hockey? How about hobbies? Do you have anything that you like to do when you're away from the rink or away from the locker room?
Yeah, I play golf a lot this summer. I mean, I was trying to get better because my brother Zach's really good. But I just played almost every day and still working on my game, but it's fun. Play tennis, just a bunch of sports, basically, to get away from the rink for a little bit. So
seems like hockey players and golf. They kind of go hand in hand. It seems like anymore. All right. Hockey has its own language. I mean, if people that aren't familiar with hockey, there's a lot of different terms and slang, I guess you'd say, that aren't used in other sports. And one of them is chirping. I have to ask you, what's the best chirp you've ever heard? Clean, of course, but that maybe it wasn't even to you. You heard it said to somebody else. And then I also want to ask, what's the best chirp you ever dished out?
Oh, geez, that's tough.
Yeah, and I told him I wasn't going to ask him any hard questions or throw him any curveballs, and then I threw him that one.
I'm not much of a chirper, but I've heard some good ones, I think. When people call, like, someone is, like, soft on the ice, like, they don't really fight or hit, just, like, you're soft as Charmin, like, the...
Nice.
Yeah.
There's so many of them out there, like...
Yeah.
Does your coach know you're out here? That kind
like
of
all that stuff.
Last year, I asked one of our players that, and he said that a guy said something to him that he could not get out of his head. That night after the game, he was sitting at home and he was still going, "Why did he say that?" And I got to thinking
there's so
about
many good ones.
Yeah.
I just can't think right now.
There really are. Let's see. How about, one of the questions I ask pretty much everybody that comes on, because fans like to hear about it because it's kind of unique, but there's a lot of superstitions in locker rooms and stuff oftentimes. So do you have a specific routine or anything that you do on a game day? And do you have any superstitions that might surprise people?
I'm not too superstitious. I normally I put on all my left equipment first. So I put on my left skate, my left knee pad, my left elbow pad. Normally tape my stick in the stands before the game, listen to music. But other than that, I'm not too crazy with it. I know some guys are, but I'm not.
What's you're listening to music? What's your go-to playlist? Give me say top 3 that get you fired up and get your head ready for a game.
I really honestly, I like country music the most. It doesn't really get me fired up; it just relaxes me. I like some rap songs, and then rock and roll. I like Motley Crue and AC/DC and all those.
Well,
yeah.
Right. Well, one out of every 50, I think, is country and rock. Otherwise, it's always rap.
Yeah.
I have to ask the superstition routine question because it's interesting. Some people, like you said, do get a little crazy. I'm getting worse. Like I used to. The only thing I wouldn't do is change my tie during a win streak. I wear the same tie every game for a win. Now I've gotten to the point where I have to go through the same drive-through for the same coffee on the same time on the game day. And Friday, they screwed up my coffee order. And I thought, oh my goodness, the sky is falling. And then, of course, 8-3 win. So there you go. Take that for what it is. But probably not a whole lot of truth in superstitions and routines. But they're fun, as long as you don't get too crazy with them. Let's see. What NHL player would you say your playing style is closest to?
I'd like to say Tom Wilson, but I'm working on being as physical as him. But 'cause he just is an animal out there. He runs around, but he's skilled. He makes plays. He plays hard and fast. That's what I try to model my game after.
Yeah, multifaceted.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed when you scored Friday night here at the Odie, the celly was pretty sedated. You just kind of.
Yeah.
It's nice and easy go to the bench where some guys get pretty crazy with their cellies.
Yeah.
Is that you just kind of old hat? You're used to scoring, or is that?
No, it's not that. It's just I don't know. I've never been the type to go on one knee and fire up the crowd. I don't know. I act like I've been there before, but.
Yeah. Well, and it's the different personalities on the ice are always interesting to me. And some guys, like you said, they are going to jump into the glass or whatever, and others are like, "This is why I'm here. This is my job," and I just, that's more of a grinder kind of mentality. It seems like. Good to know, though. That's awesome. How about this one? It has nothing to do with hockey and nothing to do with much of anything other than it's kind of interesting. Would you rather win $50,000 or have one of your friends win $500,000? And they can't give any to you.
Oh, no, yeah, I was going to ask that. Probably take the $50,000 for myself, honestly. Because if they can't give anything to me, then I'm not that good of a friend. So.
Well, that's the truth. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's hey, you want to be generous to your friends and stuff, but that's $450,000 is a big difference. All right. Well, you haven't had a chance to see Austin yet. Well, on film, nobody has no regular season. They haven't played a regular season game. What do you see that might be some keys coming up against Austin? I'm sure you guys really haven't had a chance to work on them much, and like Coach Langer said, a bulk of the practice and preparation will be on your game. But what do you know about Austin? Do you think you're going to be some important things?
I don't know much about them. Like you said, we haven't watched anything. But we just got to keep playing the way we're playing. Mm-hmm. We got to start fast, play hard, and just play our game. And I'm sure we'll be fine.
When you mentioned starting fast, and Coach Langer often says that when I ask him about a key to a game, or especially in a pregame interview, I'll say to him, what do you got to do? And he almost always says, we got to get out quick. Can you feel it when you're not, as a team, really getting the start you want?
Yeah, for sure. You just know, like, the bench isn't up, like, nobody's talking. When somebody blocks a shot, like, you know when you're going and you're not, so.
Well, that seems like it'd be almost frustrating to recognize it, but not be able to get anything to get it going. Big switch was flipped in between the first and second on Friday night, though. Again, a six-goal second period with Randall with a hat trick. You ever been a part of a game where you guys just seem like you're scoring like that?
Yeah, that was crazy. Honestly, I've never been a part of that, like a game like that. Well, Randy scored a natural hat trick in the second period. That was crazy. We knew like what we were gonna do right in the second period when the puck dropped. We just had one goal in mind, and it was just to take it to him.
Yeah. Well, it certainly did that. I mean, a natural hattie in 60 minutes is one thing, and in 20 minutes is entirely another. It does not happen often.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then he goes up and gets a goal on Saturday, too. Of course, you had two on the weekend as well. Somebody was getting on the bus in front of Randy in Bismarck there. I heard him say, "Oh, it's all Randy's world. We're all just living in it."
Yeah, that was funny.
Can you look at a player like that and just be like, man, he's on a hot streak? You know?
Oh yeah. You know when he's hot. Like shoots the puck and 50-50 shots going in.
Yeah.
So.
It's interesting how those guys are feeling it sometimes, and then other times
it's crazy.
Somebody will be slumping for a while. They need to get that monkey out their back or whatever. But I think I talked with Coach Langer about the depth, and of course you coming to the team adds a lot of that too, to be able to have guys on each line being able to score and have a defenseman that add to the scoring potential as well. So very cool. All right, well that's about all I've got for you, Ben. I really appreciate you coming on the show though, and wish you best of luck against Austin coming up this weekend.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, folks, Free Kids Friday this Friday, October 30th against the Austin Bruins. Purchase an adult ticket at the door and receive a free kids ticket, one kids ticket per adult, kids 12 and under. Saturday, October 31st versus Austin, Halloween night at the Odie. Costumes are encouraged. The first 250 kids through the door will receive a Wings trick or treat goodie bag. Doors open at 5:30 and puck always drops at 7:15. Get your tickets now at tickets.aberdeenwings.com. $15 corporate bar stool seats are available for both games by calling Aaron at 605-380-5852. $10 general admission tickets are also on sale now at any of the 4 Sea Express locations in Aberdeen with additional purchase. Corporate night sponsorships are available for the 2020-2021 season. Call Aaron again at 605-380-5852 for more information. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Well, once again, Ben Badalamenti, thanks for coming on, and that will pretty much wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.